in shape during lockdown, but now Joe Wicks is highlighting the importance of looking after our minds.
In an emotional new documentary, he's exploring how his parents' mental health issues affected him as a child, as well as the shocking scale of the problem today.
I mean, that's massively honest, Joe. So you grew up in Epsom. We should explain just a little bit behind that clip there. You've got your brothers, Nicky and George. Your mum, Raquela, struggled with OCD and eating disorders. Your father, Gary, who we saw there, battling with addiction. He was in and out of rehab for his heroin addiction, often absent from your life. So, for you, how much were you aware of what was going on within your family?
I think that scene still, even when I watch it back, it still brings that emotion up. Because, you know, like, there's stuff locked inside you as a kid that you suppress and that you don't want to confront. You know, I found it really difficult doing this documentary because it was in my head going to be about other families, mental health in the UK, how can we improve that and help that situation, but it became a really personal thing. And what I realised is, you know, all of those experiences I've been through have shaped who I am today. It's given me that drive and that empathy to want to help others and even share this story, right? There's a reason I'm doing it, I want to help others. But, you know, I was aware and around it, loads of destruction and, you know, heroin addiction is a really destructive thing and I was just anxious all the time and scared and nervous and I acted up in school, I was disruptive, I became a naughty kid. I was the naughty kid because no one stopped me and said, you know, what's going on? What's going on at home? No one asked me, they just isolated me. And so I went through a lot, but no one talked about it. No one was saying to me, you know, what's going on. So your mum and dad just didn't want to talk about these things. And that's what the documentary's like, when can we bring the kids into the conversation?
And start talking about it. And even worse, because if they'd have asked you as a child what was going on, what is so heartbreaking about this is that you said in some way you felt responsible for what was going on.
I think as a child, what I've learned from this is that when you have that kind of thing going on, so my mum and dad, you know, I was trying to care for them and my brother was caring for me and you can become really withdrawn or you can become like a kind of carer where you just want to make sure everyone else is OK around you. And I look at Indian Mine and think, I can't imagine them having to deal with those emotions. And so, yeah, like, it was really difficult and it's an emotional documentary. But at the end of it, I think there's a message of hope because I have a great relationship with my dad today. You know, we've repaired that damaged relationship and the same with my mum. So I just hope this starts conversations and gets other people thinking about that.
What about your mum and the issues surrounding her at that time?
Well, you know, when you're a kid, like I was a kid growing up in a house where she was scrubbing the house 3 or 4 times a day, making me hoover my bedroom twice a day, but I had to use the little piece. Like I couldn't use the big, but I had to show her the lines. She had to see that I'd done it. So these things weren't normal, but in my head it's like, all mums do this. This is what mums do. They clean the house. But
what about making your bed?
To make the bed, yeah, and, you know, if it wasn't tight enough, it wasn't crisp, it was like every day was an argument. And so my mum didn't know she had OCD. I didn't know she had a mental health issue, but if only we'd communicated at the time, I would have been more understanding. I wouldn't have argued with her all my life.
Or there'd have been the support if she could have gone and got the help. But she was so terrified to go and get help because back then, when there was less understanding of mental health issues, she was worried that you boys, you and your brother, would be taken away. Yeah,
so this is I was born in '85 and she was only 19 when she had me and she was really young and I think there's that fear of, you know, if I tell people how much I'm struggling, if I let people know about my eating disorder, my anxiety and all this stuff, all this cleaning, that we'd be taken away from her. But I think nowadays, they really work to keep the child in the family. They work with the family, and that's what I do. I visit charities, I visit some amazing projects that bring the children into the therapy because it's not just the adult with the mental health that's suffering, it's the children, it's your relationship, it's your partners, it's everyone around you. So I want to get people talking about that and opening up because when you do, the whole family unit can benefit and you can talk through it and there's hope and you know, things can improve.
And you, I suppose, I know as a child, you're looking at it, you're occasionally angry, you're desperately upset, you want to find a way to stop it from happening. How can I help? And that's really very difficult because you talk about school, that help really didn't exist. There wasn't quite the same awareness of kids and what might be going on in their families. What you did do was go to the gym.
Yeah, my therapy, so, like, I understand why my dad now became a heroin addict and why he was taking drugs at 13 and 14 years old. Like, he was soothing himself. He was overwhelmed with the feelings he was going from childhood trauma. My mum was abandoned as a young kid. She had a lot going on as well, and that manifested in OCD. It doesn't just... You don't wake up with OCD and eating disorders, and so I understand now what they've been through, and I going back into my childhood, I can see now how exercise was my medication. I treated myself because I was so overwhelmed with what was going on at home. I couldn't deal with that. So I'd just run everywhere. I'd join the gym. I would join football teams and clubs because I released all that anger, that frustration, that energy through fitness, and that's why I visit schools today to spread that message.
Do you think that, I mean, a lot of people don't discuss their family. You know, there's a lot of, I mean, you yourself, when friends used to say, you know, about your dad at school, you would say you didn't have a dad. I mean, there's a lot of shame that's wrapped up in all of this sort of thing. Since talking about it and being more open about it, does that go away? Does that take the power out of it?
Yeah, those are the years when I was, like, angry and I was resentful, because I understood then, like, my dad I used to think was just this fun guy, he smoked some weed, and I thought it was just this fun guy, listened to Bob Marley, had dreadlocks, I loved him, right? But then when it really started to show the rehabs, the relapses, you know, it's like he's clean and he's not, that was so destructive, and it made me think that, you know, my life was like that forever. But what I've realised is you can work through it and you can actually have an amazing friendship. Me and my dad now, like, we go on motorbike trips together, we spend time together, and I love him. So I think I've used that kind of experience in a positive way. I've not let it destroy me. I've let it give me this unbelievable drive and energy. Like PE with Joe, I was there, wasn't I, every day? Because I imagined myself being that kid in that council flat, and I thought, I need to do this.
Yeah.
And this documentary, I hope, is going to start a conversation that can really, really, you know, bring mental health to the forefront, because trust me, I get DMs hundreds a day. I visit schools where the head teachers are saying that the children at risk and the parents suffering, we see it, it's increasing, it's doubling, it's tripling. We need to talk about this. This is more important than obesity. This is real, and it's right now. It's so important.
Yeah, and I know how you spend hours and hours replying to as many as you possibly can, and that in itself is a big task. There are awards, and there are nice things to be able to share, and you got your MBE, and so congratulations.
Well, thank you.
That. And you got to take your brother.
Yeah, I can't believe that, and it gets me emotional when I think about it, because we were 2 children in a council estate, and our mum, you know, they said that our mum was a bad mum, and we were going to amount to nothing. So when I see me and Nikki as those 2 boys, and then I see us at Windsor Castle collecting an MBE, and it is our MBE because we were there together, and everything I've achieved that you see, half of that is Nikki. I've reached millions of people because Nikki is there in the background helping me create ideas to build my audience. And so, like, he was in my ear when he was doing the shout-outs every single day. It was me and Nikki. So when I could take one person, I knew in a heartbeat it was Nikki.
It was gonna be
we met
him.
Princess Anne, and she was so lovely. And, you know, it was just a wonderful moment and a real proud moment for me, and to show my mum and dad, like, you done well, mum and dad. Although you think it was chaos and we had a crazy upbringing, you done well, you done something right, because look at us today.
Yeah. That's very true. They have a lot to be proud of. Has it shaped you as a parent, do you think, now you've got your own children?
Oh, 100%. You know, because as a kid, you know, I lived in a house where there was holes in the wall, and I used to think, why is there holes in the wall? Why are doors getting slammed? And so I don't want to be that parent that's shouting and screaming. I want to be a calm parent. I want to be patient. So I'm constantly challenging that default reaction that I've got in my mind to not slam the door and scream, and to, like, interact differently. And so I'm getting better at it, and I'm breaking the cycle so that they're kind and patient as well when they're parents.
Joe, well done you. It's so lovely to see you, and congratulations on this. It's a brilliant documentary. It's very open and very honest, and you're very brave for going there. Joe Wicks, Facing My Childhood, 9 p.m. tonight on BBC One.
Thank you so much.